So poops, catastrophe. What a wonderful word, itself made of two Greek words. First, kata, which means down, and strophein, which means turn. What a perfect word it is to describe the catastrophe that is Malaysia's passport renewal process. So poops, some of you may know that recently in Malaysia we had the option to renew our passports for 10 years, and I remember people just clapping. Wow, so amazing. And it was supposed to be amazing. I went for the 10-year renewal. I mean, the whole point of that is that you don't need to go and see immigration. Sit there, santai, socialize. I mean, cause, you know, people got better things to do than go sit down in an immigration office, stare at people, take 2 to 3 hours out of a perfectly good day. So a lot of people I know just went right ahead and did their renewal straight away, raving through the god-awful experience that is Jabatan Immigration's appointment booking system,
which by the way is impossible to find online.
And oh, it's my second time doing this.
And my third time going to freaking immigration for my passport.
But whoa, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Passport office was closed on the day that we went. We had to come back 2 weeks later in order to do the renewal because none of their online renewal methods work or are legit. Whichever of these things you actually see, none of them are legit. The only legit one is the queue for immigration website that you can see on this URL right over here. This one. Only this one.
Where they have you start, fill in, put in all your details, only to give you this god-awful system where you can't select a date for your appointment. And the only possible way for you to book is to book on the day itself. Meaning, if I actually want to book, then the earliest I can book is 12 AM, which explains why I'm making this video right now. Anyway, lo and behold, here we are again. Why? Because of the great genius of Malaysia's immigration department, 26,000 of us have to go back and renew our passports. So the International Civil Aviation Authority recommends that passports have an upper limit on their validity of 10 years maximum. So technically, if you have a passport that is beyond 10 years, then that is a problem for certain places, like the Schengen area that will literally block you from entering. But the geniuses in the immigration department basically carried over an old rule from their 5-year passport issuance thingamabob, which states that you can basically add on 6 months of your current passport validity onto your passport. So let's say it's January the 1st, your passport expires on July the 1st, you renew for 10 years, poof, your passport is now valid until July the 1st, 2037. Woohoo! Except, you can't travel. Now technically, this could just be like a check-in problem or something like that. Probably solvable with a couple of phone calls. But you know what Malaysia decided to do? It decided to freaking suspend the validity of these passports, meaning that you can't travel, and they want you to go and get a replacement if you're gonna travel. And I'm like, bro, what the So are you saying that I have to go back to immigration? Are you saying that I have to go and talk to Abang Immigration again? This time not for my awesome 10-year passport, but instead to have another conversation about how our country failed? I mean, I know some of y'all are very free, right? But do you think I am so free? Are you saying that even after going through this garbage failure of an immigration website, that by the way forces you to set your location when you're on iOS and lets you fill in all of the details on the queuing form, and then when you can't fill in the form, it will literally set you all the way back and force you to use desktop? Bro, this system is already so bad that you could hire me as a consultant and I could use ChatGPT to code the entire thing and do a better job than y'all did for a fraction of the cost. We're not even talking about the redundant passports, which probably would cost about 2.5 mil, but also imagine the salaries of all the government workers that you are spending processing all of these redundant passports that you could have known were redundant if only you had thought things through just a little bit before you ended up wasting money that you did not have to. Oh, by the way, the time that you did not have to. Who's gonna compensate me for going to another immigration office in order to talk to another immigration officer after going through your horrible queuing system that doesn't work in order to receive a passport from a process that you just colossally screwed up. Do I get money for petrol? Do I get payment for my time? Bro, you know what's the worst part of all of this though? It's the fact that all of this happened despite the fact that there are historical examples of how other countries have screwed this up. You know, Britain did the exact same thing, and there was a whole song, dance, hoo-ha about all of this that they had to settle because it was a huge problem and that our immigration department could have just casually searched up and learn from before going through this colossal waste of time. But apparently, searching up case studies is not the kind of thing that our government feels is necessary to do before implementing huge moves that end up costing Malaysian people millions of ringgit. Although I guess we can't expect very much given the whole Tabung Haji thing, but that's a separate matter. But you know what's even worse than that? Is the fact that Singapore faced this exact same question just a couple of years ago, and then they actually accounted for that edge case and they made it so the correct thing should apply, which is that your validity doesn't add on with a 10-year passport. They literally solved it perfectly without wasting time, wasting money, and showcasing to the entire Malaysian people and people who want to travel across the world just how freaking incompetent our people in government are. You know, Suboops, I don't even know what's worse. Whether it's the fact that they didn't even think about the 10 years plus validity thing or the website, but like, this is the kind of thing that you don't expect a government to do. You expect it to be able to account for simple things like this so that they don't create work for themselves that they don't need to actually be doing. But somehow in Malaysia, this is the nature of what we do. It's almost like wired into the country in itself. And it just makes you wonder yourself and dread what the life of somebody who's working with this sort of government software day in and day out must be like. Seriously, millions of apps all over the place. And given what we see with the immigration booking situation, you really have to wonder if all of them are just as bad as this. Seriously, hire me as a consultant. I can do an infinitely better job for y'all than this right here. And even if you're not going to hire me for that purpose, please, for the love of God, do better. I know y'all want to talk about digitalization, about how like y'all have such a wonderful ecosystem and stuff like that. Our startup have so much potential, there's so much talent out there, but you can't even handle simple things like this and you want to talk shop dilulu. Oh my gosh, Malaysia boleh bangkit. Hello? 做这种小东西都做不到 and yet you're acting like you want Malaysia to compete with Silicon Valley. Please, for the love of God, if you can't even handle trivial things, y'all need to get off your delusional high horse. And in the words of the Malay proverb, ukur baju pada badan sendiri. Anyway, looks like I have to stay awake in order to get a booking for this passport thing. I don't know if any of y'all got affected out there, but if you didn't, then that's all Gucci. If you did, then okay, fine, we suffer together. Congratulations to the Malaysian government and our immigration department for this wonderful success. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani.